All right, this is part 2 video of we're basically upgrading, modifying, repairing a Zareba 10-mile solar unit, 0.15 output joule. They make Blitzer, American Farmworks, Red Snapper versions of the same thing. This had a bad board in it. The boards are pretty, they're not cheap. I mean, they're like 85 bucks, between 80 and $90, somewhere in that range for a new circuit board for a Zareba 10-mile solar. And for like $20 more, you can get a Gallagher S22 board. It makes it a lot more reliable. You can actually fix these boards. They're made by Gallagher in their own factories. Zareba, at least this solar one is made over in China and slapped their name on it, sort of thing. So I put a link down below for part 1. So if you haven't seen part 1 yet, there will be a link down below. These circuit boards for these Gallagher S22s are 120 bucks from us, free shipping. If you want us to get it prepped for you with some wiring, add about $5. We'll do 125, and we'll add some wiring and soldering to the thing. You just have to do the job of watching part 1 and making sure that what your issue is the board, testing some things, testing the battery and the switch and stuff. So, okay, but here's information if you haven't seen any of our other videos. There are links down below in the description for our websites. But here's our information, fencerfixer.com, our phone number, email address. We also work in cattle scales and low bars. We give free quotes. But you get a 1.5 year warranty on this board. Water damage and bug damage is not covered by the warranty, but malfunction, random failures, stuff like that will cover under the 1.5 year warranty. These only get 1 year warranty when you buy a new one, and they're like $260 for a new one. And a Gallagher S20, which is what is made today by Gallagher, they're about 265 bucks for them as well. So for $120, $125, you can get this board in there and be good to go for a long time. Okay, so now what we got to do is we've got to get, I explained in the first video that this has got a built-in switch on the board. So down is on and towards you is off, but because it's inverted from when it's mounted in the case on an S17 Gallagher or S22 Gallagher. So we push the switch away from us, which is down, which is the on position for this, but we have to be able to turn it on and off from the switch on the outside. So what we're going to do is, I think we can reuse this switch. It was not doing its job by turning things on and off. We had to actually short across it to close the switch. But let's test this switch first. Okay, it's not beeping, so let's... Alright, right now it's turned on. The switch is on, but we're not getting any kind of continuity reading through it. So either the switch is bad and needs to be replaced, or we just got bad contacts. So let's pull these wires off real quick. I'm going to clean it up here. It's got some crud on the terminals. I think we got some crap down inside here. Some corrosion or something. Let's see if we can work it back and forth and clean it up some. Let's see if we test it now, if it reads. If it reads good, then we'll go with it. Alright, switch is bad. So let's push this switch and get it out of there. Got to push in the sides of the switch. Let me see if I've got another switch. I mean, the switch itself is fine. There's corrosion on this one, and on this one, on this tab, it probably goes all the way down and ate up the contacts inside the switch, but it's a pretty chintzy switch. So let me go look and see what I got for another switch over in stock. Okay, I've actually got another factory switch here in stock, and it actually feels a lot more crisper. But what we'll do is we'll put some dielectric grease on these contacts to try to help out with corrosion. But the good thing is, I don't have to modify the case or drill a hole or anything. We can just slip that switch up inside there. Oh yeah, it sounds a lot better too. Let's get some dielectric grease. We'll squirt a little bit of that on there. Let's get this little... Hopefully that'll help protect this somewhat and everything. Put it right at the base of the where the tabs come through the case, as well as on the actual spade itself, on both the front and the back of it. Goop it on there, it's fine. Alright, so now what we're going to do, since basically what we need to do is we need to be able to control when this thing turns off, you know, turn it on and off with this. So we just basically need to cut power to the battery. So what we're going to do is we still need to put power to the board. So this is going to have to go, we're going to take this red wire off. We're going to put this red wire on from the original battery cord and put it on there. And the black one, well, that's where we're going to disconnect it from. We're going to take, let's see, which is off and on. Okay, off is here, on is here. So we'll take this black wire, we're going to plug it onto the on side of the switch. And then the other side of the switch, we're going to... Alright, hold on. Thinking too hard here. So put that there. Let's take this and put it here. I think that's what we want to do. There it goes. Okay. So take the black of the negative wire, we're going to plug it on to the off side of the switch, which if you look at the switch, it's got a 1 and a 0. Zeros are off. So, and we can cut these and make them shorter if we need to, which probably will to clean it up some. So our negative of our battery goes to the off battery wire, goes to the 0 or the off side of our switch. Then on the on side of the switch goes up to the negative of this battery terminal. So let's shorten this up because I don't need this much wire exposed because that's just a mess. So let me clean that up real quick. Alright, got that cleaned up, got that shortened up, and that's shortened up there. Okay, now the next thing we got to do, we got to get our fence and ground wires, or a fence and ground output for our terminals to this board here. It's like on the left is our fence. And if you look at the board over here, it's labeled on these 2 silver tabs right here. It's labeled, if it focus, earth or ground, and this is bottom one's labeled fence. So this is our fence side, so we're actually going to cut this a little short. And what we can do for you as well, if you want to try to do this yourself, we can solder some wires onto this as well, make them like this long or whatever, and you can splice in, you know, with some butt connectors, so we can help you out with that as well. So we're going to add a little solder here. Put some solder on this wire. We're going to go over here, we're going to put some solder on this tab here. And then we're going to take this wire, since that solder on it, and the tabs that solder on there, we're just going to heat them both up together. Just let them fuse together and cool off and harden up. Well, this one's too short, so it's not going to reach. Let's see if we splice these together, if it'd be long enough. I think, yeah, we can take this one here, we'll cut that tab off, that spade connector off, strip this back, we'll cut off the end here, strip this back. And I could heat shrink it, you know, solder heat shrink it I guess, but just for sake of time, we're just going to use a butt connector. Use the pink one because the blue one's next size bigger, and the pink one works just fine for this size wire. And we'll push it behind the wires, have it long enough, and then we'll strip this back just a little bit, and then we'll take soldering iron. We'll add some solder to the actual wire itself. And then we'll go to the earth tab, or ground tab, on the over here, add some solder to it, and then we'll take this wire, lay it on top, heat them both up together at the same time, and they kind of fuse together. Let the solder settle down and cool off. Okay, that's good. Now we got to get our solar panel and our LED hooked up. So now we'll bring over this thing, this front cover here. We got a plus and minus for our LED. And we're going to strip these back. And we're just going to use butt connectors on those two. I mean, we can solder and heat shrink, but I think for this type of unit in this situation, I think just butt connecting it back together is going to be just fine. I'm going to get 4 of them. That's what I'm going to do for both the solar panel and the regulator. Okay, looking at my notes, looks like the LED, the left is our negative, which is the one I have here in my hand. So we're going to put that on there. And then we'll grab the negative of this one here, slide it in there. And then we'll take this one here. The heater's on, I'm getting hot. Heater kicked on the shop here, and it's a little toasty now. Plus I got my jacket on, so that's my flannel coat here, and it's not helping staying cool. Now we'll crimp that on there. That's done. Now we'll take the solar panel wire, and we're basically going to do the same thing. We're going to cut these 2 female spade connectors off. We'll strip these back, our red and black wires. And over here on my notes it says top one is positive. So we got lots of wire there, so I think we can cut off some of this so there's not so much ding around everywhere. Okay, and we've got these. We'll crimp these on here. Alright, what was it again? Top is positive, so that's this one here. So we'll take this one, slide it in with the red wire. And then this one is negative, so slide that on there, crimp it. And then slide this in here. Good little tug, make sure it's nice and tight. Okay, so if we did everything right, we should be good. And I'm just hoping that this LED will flash. So I'm going to just lay this like this. And I'm going to flip the switch on the bottom here. And can't see it, but the LED is flashing down there. There you go. Let's turn it off. Let's button this thing up a little bit. Let's put the screws in it, and I'm going to test the output of the unit. We got a few minutes before this thing times out again. Get the screws kind of. I usually do either two top ones or a bottom one and the top one. Kind of get the screws kind of lined up where they need to go. And we'll look in the side, see that screw go, make sure it goes in this little hole. Come on. And then we'll grab two more screws, and they should go right into the little hole, like normal. Oh, we're hitting something. Something's in the way. Okay, some of these wires are in the way. We tuck the wires down below and get them out of the way. This screw down there, we'll get it line up in this little hole. Same thing over here. So go to the bottom here, flip the switch on. We'll take our, I got a Gallagher tester here, but we'll put it's turned on, and now we'll put our meter across the terminals here. We'll fence to fence and hot to hot. We're getting 7.5 kV, 7.7 kV. Almost 8,000 volts. Well, it takes a little bit of time to do it. It took me, if I didn't have to talk and explain things, I'd probably do it in about 30 minutes. But talking and showing, and it took about 45 minutes or so to do that. But this one's basically ready to go. It's now a Gallagher S22 internally. But batteries, you can reuse those as long as they're good. Switches, you can reuse those. Those are good. The solar panels hardly ever go bad. But that's it for this one. We're going to call the customer up, make sure they're ready to go, and I'm sure they are compared to a new one. So it's a heck of a lot cheaper than buying a new one, and more reliable. All right, well, until next time, see you guys later on, and have a good rest of your day. And like I said, if you'd like to get a board from us, we could do it for $120. If you want us to put some solder and wires on there at about $5, we'll do it for $125. Shipping included is part of that price. Until next time, see you guys later on.